Namaste students. Now we are discussing the third chapter, classification and tabulation, and we are still in the concept called formation of continuous frequency distribution. We are discussing the concept which are related to formation of continuous frequency distributions. Yesterday we discussed about frequency density and also the cumulative frequency distribution, how to frame cumulative frequency distribution, and also what is frequency density. Frequency density is a frequency per unit of class intervals. Frequency divided by width, then we get frequency density. And we also use it when we get frequency distribution of unequal width. And we have also seen their number of classes, how to get number of classes. That is by using Sturge's rule, that is 1 plus 3.322 log n. Then also we have seen the formula for the obtaining width of particular class, that is range divided by number of class. So this we discussed in the yesterday's session. Now today we'll start with the concept called relative frequencies. And what is this relative frequency? Relative frequency is the ratio of frequency. It is the ratio of frequency of the value of the variable to the total frequency. It is the ratio of the frequency of the value of variable. Frequency we obtain from the variable. Frequency is nothing but how many times and particular observation is repeating. Here 2 is repeating only one time. Here 1 is repeating twice. 0 is repeating once. So frequency, it is nothing but how many times that value which we obtain from the variable, that is repeating. So here the frequency of the value of the variable, this frequency we present in the form of ratios. When we divide by the total frequency, this frequency is, when we divide it by total frequency, we present in the form of ratio. So it is the ratio of frequency. It is the ratio of this frequency. It is the ratio of the frequencies of the value of the variable. This frequency obtained by value of the variable. So it is the ratio of frequencies of the value of the variable to the total frequencies. That is nothing but n. So what is the formula in order to obtain relative frequency? So formula for relative frequency is equal to frequency of the value of the variable divided by total frequency. That is nothing but, what is total frequency? n. So we can symbolically present this as relative frequency is equal to the frequency divided by total number of frequencies. We can write f by n. The frequency divided by total number of frequencies. So what is the total number of frequency? Total number of frequency is here n is equal to 4. Total number of frequency is 4. Then how to find out frequency density here? The frequency density, relative frequency that is frequency by total number of frequency. So what is the frequency here? Frequency is 1 by total number of frequency 4. What do we get? 0.25. Then what is the frequency here? 2. What is the total number of frequency? 4. What do we get? 0.50. Here again 1 total number of frequency, 4 we get 0.25. So these are the ratios. We presented the frequency in the form of ratios, and ratios should be, the total of ratios should be always 1. So this is about relative frequencies, and and we are not going to apply any of the problems, that just we are studying this particular concept. It may come for this, what you mean by relative frequency may come for 1 month. You are not, you won't get any problems of framing relative frequency. This is just for an example I have given. You should be knowing here what is relative frequency and what is the formula. 1 mark, possible question, and this is for your example reference. Now, we completed with the concept how to frame continuous frequency distribution. There are some rules. We'll discuss that rules. Then once we revise all the concepts. Now, we'll discuss about principles of classification. Principles, or we can say it as rules. If you get questions like write the principles or rules of classification, means you need to write all these points. Now, we'll discuss one by one. Now, the number of classes should be between 4 to 15. The first principle or rules for classification or framing frequency distribution, it is number of classes should be between 4 to 15. What is that? Number of classes should be between 4 to 15. For example, we are framing now class intervals. We are framing 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Only 3 over. It shouldn't be 3. At least minimum it should be, there should be a 4 classes. Minimum there should be a 4 classes. 40 to 50. Minimum there should be a 4 classes. Maximum means we can take classes up to 50. We can take like this classes up to 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. We can take up to 15, but not more than that. So the number of classes, it should be between 4 to 15. That means minimum there should be a 4 classes and maximum we can go up to 15 classes. Now next one. Exclusive classes should be formed for better continuity. As I said, there are 2 kinds of classes. Which kind of class is this? This is exclusive class intervals. It is better to form exclusive class intervals for better continuity. Better continuity means 10 to 20. 20 will continue here. 20 to 30. 30 will continue here. So, it is better to form this kind of class interval so that calculation will be easy. Calculation will be easy rather than inclusive class intervals. What is that inclusive class intervals? 10 to 19, 29, then 30 to 39. This is inclusive class interval. So, when we compare it with these two, this is better to form rather than this because there is no continuity. Now, third one. The width of the class should be kept constant. As I said, width of the class should be kept constant. What is that width of the class? The gap between the class should be kept constant. Now see here, 10 to 20. What is the width? Gap is 10. 20 to 30. What is the width? Width is 10. Here also, throughout the class intervals, there should be a width of equal. There should be a equal width. If it is unequal width means once again it will be a problem. We need to calculate their frequency density, then we need to come for the actual calculation. So, it is better to frame, it is better to keep the width of the class equal throughout the class intervals. Avoid open-end classes. What is that open-end classes? Open-end classes means, as I said, here it will be less than 20, first one. Or at last it may be more than 50. This kind of class intervals we call it as open-end class intervals. This kind of class intervals we call it as open-end class intervals. Better to avoid framing this kind of class intervals. Why? It is not possible to obtain the midpoint of these classes. Here we can obtain midpoint, but we cannot obtain midpoint. What is midpoint? That is 20 to 30 divided by 2. What is the mid value? 20 to 30. What is the mid value? 25 is the mid value. Here 35 is the mid value. But here it is difficult. We cannot obtain. We need to get mid values of for all the classes, but here it is difficult to obtain. So for that purpose, it is better to avoid open-end classes. It is better to avoid these kinds of classes. Then the classes should be arranged ascending or descending order. What arranging ascending means? Here we are arranging ascending order again. 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. Or else 60 to 50, 50 to 40, 30. Now we won't frame in the descending order. Very rarely, no, we won't get any problems. Always we frame in the ascending order only. So they have told it is better to frame ascending or descending order, but we frame only in ascending order. Now, the lower limit, the class should be okay over. The lower limit of the first class should be multiple of 5. See, this is very, very important. The lower limit of the first class, the lower limit of the first class. Which is the first class here? We'll frame one more row class intervals now. 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30. 25 to 25 to 30, 30 to 35, 35 to 40. Now, lower limit of the first class should be multiple of 5. What is the lower limit of the first class? Which is the first class? So this is the first class. This is the second class, third class, fourth class, fifth class. So this is the first class. The lower limit of the first class. The first class, which is the lower limit? 10. This value, when we begin, the first value should be always multiple of 5. What is that multiple of 5? The multiple of 5 are 5. Then 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. These are the multiples of 5. So, the lower limit of the first class, it should be always multiple of 5. We need to start or we need to begin the class intervals from either 5. See, we have taken 10 to 20. We started from 10. It is multiple of 5. We started from 15. So, it should be always multiple of 5. Please remember this. We need to start with the multiple of 5 when we begin the class intervals. Then it will go in that flow itself. Usually we take width. We don't apply any of the formula usually that they have given there. We assume that width is either 5 or 10. Most of the time we assume that width is 5 or 10. So when we assume, we need to take this first value as a multiples of 5. These are the multiples of 5. Depending upon that particular data. Some data it may start from the first value might be 42. 42, 43, 46, it goes till 74 it goes. Then how to frame? If a value if we get 42 to 73. Lowest value is 42, highest value is 73. Then how we need to start the class intervals? We need to start from 40, then we can end with 75. So we need to take 40 to 45, 45 to 50, it should go till 75. So depending upon the data, we need to take the first value. It should be always multiple of 5. So these are the rules of the classification. So these are the rules of the classification. Now we completed with the concept. Which concept? Not the concept. Some of the concept before framing continuous frequency distribution. Now once we revise what are those concepts you studied till now. So initially we begin with, which is that first concept we studied, that is range. We studied the range in the beginning. What is the range? Range is the difference between highest value and the lowest value in a particular data. Range is the difference between highest value and the highest value minus lowest value. That is the range. Then next we have seen the class. Next we have seen the class. Class is nothing but sub-range. Class is nothing but sub-range. I have given the example while discussing. Now we'll see once again. See those concepts, those concepts which we have studied till now, these are very, very important concepts. It will come for 1 mark as well as 2 marks. Range, I hope you are clear range that many data will be there. For example, 20, 30, 40, 50, 16, 18, 19, 20, then 5. Now what is the range of this particular data? What is the highest value here? Highest value is here 50. What is the lowest value? 5. range of that particular class. Then we have seen class there. What is a class? After framing class intervals 10 to 20, 22, 30, 32, 40. What is the class? This is one class. This is one more class. This is one more class. This is the class. That sub-range is called as class. Then we have seen there the class limits. Then we have seen there class limits. Class limits are nothing but in a class, the lower value and highest value which we have taken to define the boundaries of that particular class. So what is the boundaries of this particular class? It shouldn't be less than 10 and it shouldn't be more than 20. So these two values which we have taken to define the boundaries of that particular class. And here lowest value is called as lower limit and highest value is called as upper limit. This is about class limits. Then we have seen there class intervals, inclusive class intervals, inclusive class, and we have seen exclusive class. What is inclusive class? Inclusive class where lower limit as well as upper limits are included in the same class. Where lower limit and upper limits are included in the same class. Such kind of class we call it as inclusive class. Then exclusive class where lower limit is included in the same class but upper limit is excluded from this class and it is included in the next class. Upper limit is excluded from this class and it is included in this class. Such kind of classes we call it as exclusive class. Then we have seen, after seeing exclusive class, there we have seen mid value or midpoint. Then we have seen width of the class. Then we have seen correction factor. Then open-end classes. What is midpoint? Midpoint, you know that is 20 to 30. What is the mid value? That is 25. One formula, they have given one formula for midpoint, that is lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. When we apply that formula, we get the midpoint of particular class. It is not necessary to apply this particular formula. You can obtain directly. Here 25, here 35 and here 5 is the mid value. And width of the class is nothing but difference between the upper limits and the lower limits. What is the width here? Width is 10. Here also width is 10. Here also width is 10. So that is about width of the class and it is denoted by C. Width of the class is denoted by C. Then correction factor. What is the correction factor? Correction factor is used to convert this inclusive class intervals into exclusive class intervals. Why we need to convert inclusive class into exclusive? Because there is no continuity. We find it difficult to calculate. For that purpose, we need to convert inclusive into exclusive class. But there they have given one particular formula. What is that formula? The lower limit minus the lower limit minus upper limit of the previous class. Upper limit of the preceding class divided by 2. This is the formula given for correction factor. What is the formula? Lower limit minus upper limit of the preceding class. We cannot start from the first class because we don't have previous class. So we have to start from the second class. Then lower limit of that second class minus upper limit of the previous class divided by 2. But this you will get, if we do here 20 minus 19 divided by 2, you will get here 0.5. It is not necessary to calculate. Always you will get this particular correction factor as 0.5 itself. But you should know this formula for the purpose of 1 marks and 2 marks questions you need to study. What do you mean by correction factor, and for what purpose we use correction factor? It is most appearing question. For what purpose correction factor is used? Correction factor is used in order to convert inclusive class intervals into exclusive class intervals. So this is about correction factor. Then open-end classes. This we discussed just now. Open-end means where in a class there is no lower limit less than 20. Then it starts 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Then last one will be 40 and above. Where in a particular class where lower limit and upper limit is not specified. This such kind of classes we call it as open-end classes. But better avoid open-end classes because where we cannot obtain midpoint for that particular class. Then the next which we have seen, it is nothing but frequency density, which we studied in yesterday's class, that is frequency. Then we have seen frequency density. Then in today's session we have seen relative frequency and cumulative frequency. What is frequency density? Frequency density is nothing but frequency per unit of class intervals. That is nothing but frequency divided by width of the class. F by C, frequency divided by width of the class. Where we use frequency density, where we apply frequency density? In a particular class where width of the class intervals are not equal. For example, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, then 40 to 50. See here. In a first class, here width is 5, here it is 10, and here it is 20, here again it is 10. And when we get this kind of class intervals, we apply the frequency density. The next one, relative frequency, where we present the frequency in the form of ratios. It is nothing but the frequency. What frequency will be there? What frequency? What is the total frequency? Here the frequency by total number of frequency, that is frequency by total number of frequency. We present the frequency in the form of ratios, and we are not using it for any other purpose. It is just for the purpose of, you may get it for 1 mark or 2 marks. You will not get any computation of frequency, relative frequency. Then we discussed about cumulative frequency. What is that cumulative frequency? Cumulative frequency is added up frequencies are called cumulative frequencies. Added up frequencies are called cumulative frequency. And there are two kinds of cumulative frequency, that is less than cumulative and more than cumulative. What is that less than cumulative? The frequencies below certain limits. Frequencies below certain limits are less than cumulative frequencies, and frequencies above certain limits are more than cumulative frequency. And we have seen frequency distribution for less than cumulative frequencies and also more than cumulative frequencies. Less than cumulative frequency distributions are formed for less than frequencies for LC of less than frequencies against the upper limits. And more than cumulative frequency distributions are formed for more than cumulative frequencies against the lower limit. So these are the concepts we covered before framing the continuous frequency distribution. So you should be thorough with these concepts, then we can easily frame the continuous frequency distributions. Now we can move towards the continuous frequency distribution. Now we can wind up with today's class with this concept. So please be thorough with all these concepts, and in tomorrow's session we'll see how to frame continuous frequency distribution.